Have you seen this? The the neighbor put up a Florida State flag. Out of all the weeks, are you serious? No, he's gone too far this time. Come on. I'm doing something about this. Out of all the weeks. And I know he did it on purpose too, because he knows I'm a Miami fan. Their van's gone at the moment. Well, just in case they have cameras, because I don't know if they do. And honestly, I don't even care if you're recording this or not. Like, we don't have to record it. I'm over it at this point. It was, haha, real funny at first. I don't even care anymore. Like, record it or don't record it. Do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter to me. I'm taking it down. Not in my front yard. What's going on, Canes fans? There was no way that this flag was basically going to fly in my front yard all week. He's either going to have to come take it back from me or just get a new one. And if he gets a new one, then I'll go take that one down too. Now, before we dive into this preview, I would like to mention two quick things. Number one, it's going to be tough to talk trash this week. I mean, at the end of the day, there are no guarantees in life. So Florida State is not guaranteed to win this game. We all know that. But the odds are certainly not in our favor. So with that being said, I'll still try my best to represent Miami on some of these shows that I'll be making guest appearances on. And it's going to be a lot of them. It's probably going to be 3 or 4 of them. I'm going to be doing the Inside Insight show this week on my channel, and I'm planning on bringing 3 to 4 Florida State fans on that show at the same time, which means they're going to kind of be able to jump in on Coop and kind of, probably try to trash Miami quite a bit. But I'm going to be blunt. I'm not going to let anybody just straight disrespect this U. You don't have to worry about that. And also, I now have a TikTok. I never thought those words were going to leave my lips. It is at the Coach Coop, all together, all lowercase, and I will link it down in my description and the pinned comment. Here's the kicker. My wife is going to be running that account, so Coop really doesn't have a say-so as to what goes up on there. But the idea here is that it's going to be some football stuff and also some personal stuff. So she's going to, maybe catch me when I'm recording videos or, some bloopers or just day-to-day personal stuff. And she's going to be able to post up whatever she wants over there about me and with me. So if that's something you might be interested in, she's working really hard on that. So I would appreciate it if you guys would follow it. It's going to be interesting. So without further ado, let's jump into this thing. The 6-3 Miami Hurricanes are taking on the 9-0 Florida State Seminoles this Saturday at Doak Campbell Stadium at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm just going to be honest here. Florida State is on a heck of a run so far this season, and they've already secured their spot in the ACC championship game. Their quarterback, Jordan Travis, has thrown 19 touchdown passes with only 2 interceptions, which is the complete polar opposite of what Miami is dealing with in the quarterback room. Make no mistake, as much as it pains me to say this, and when I say it pains me, I mean I literally throw up in my mouth a little bit when I say this. FSU is legit this year, and they appear to be firing on all cylinders.
Disgusting!
They honestly have too many playmakers for me to even list out in this quick little preview video. But I know there are two big ones on offense that everybody knows, and that's wide receivers Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson. Keon Coleman is 6'4", and he makes contested catches look easy. To be honest, I think it's actually one of his favorite things to do. He doesn't like the easy catches. He likes the crazy, wild circus ones that look impossible to make. And Wilson is a massive 6'7" and is just an absolute matchup nightmare. I mean, who literally can cover that guy? They've got the running back Benson, who beefed up a lot in the offseason, a yak machine at tight end, Jaheim Bell, and several potential first-round NFL draft picks on defense. And no, I'm not kidding. But every team has its weaknesses, and FSU is by no means unbeatable. A big question going into this game is, will their two-star wide receivers be available? Last week against Pitt, they weren't, and you saw a Florida State offense that really slowed down without those guys. My guess, however, is that they will play against Miami because it's just too big of a game. But I did want to mention it because it is something that you want to keep an eye on. Either way, this will be the toughest opponent that the Miami Hurricanes face all year, period. Now, speaking on Miami for a moment, we do have one particular thing that could be viewed as an advantage for us. It could also be viewed as a big disadvantage, but I'm going to try to look at it as an advantage, which is the unknown at the quarterback position. Let me explain. Will Mario Cristobal actually make a change and send out the freshman Emory Williams in his second start? Or will it be Jakari Brown, the dual threat that can definitely beat you with his legs? Or maybe he sticks with Tyler Van Dyke, and all this talk about not confirming who the quarterback is going to be is all smoke and mirrors. Or maybe he uses a mixture of two of the three, or maybe all three of the quarterbacks. What's interesting here is Miami fans don't know unless somebody can fly a drone over Greentree and see who's taking most of the reps with the ones. But the other side of it is also that Mike Norvell doesn't know. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd rather be in a position where we know we can rely on the guy that's back there, but we're just in a situation where that's not the case. So which quarterback does Mike Norvell and Florida State's defense prepare for? Because a lot of those guys are very different. Now, Emory and TVD can be similar, but you still kind of prepare differently for both of those guys. And then Jakari is just a totally different scenario altogether. Now, you could maybe also argue that Miami has some advantages in the trenches, both on offense and defense, but for me personally, it's tough to really say for sure because we've still just seen too many inconsistencies with Miami. But let's take a quick look at the history between these two teams. Miami and FSU have faced off 67 times in total, with the Canes leading the series 35-32. The most recent game last year was an absolute bloodbath in favor of the Noles, 45-3. I was there, and it was bad.
Sorry.
And now let's take a look at some average stats so far this season for both of these squads. Coming into this game, Florida State is averaging 40 points per game and Miami 32. Points allowed against them per game, Florida State a very respectable 17, and Miami not too far behind that with 20. Average yards gained per game, FSU 458, Miami 438, and yards allowed against them per game, Florida State 333 and Miami 311. Next up is three keys to a victory in this one, and we'll kick it off with the Miami Hurricanes. Coming in at number one, the tight ends must play a part in this game. They've been non-existent in the passing attack up to this point, and that has to change against FSU. Whether it be the quarterback throwing to them more often, them actually catching the ball when it is thrown their way, or Dawson dialing up more plays to get them involved. I don't care. Just make all of that happen. Number 2, I do think that Miami should use multiple QBs on Saturday. I don't typically like this idea, and you guys know that, but throwing Jakari out there in some packages designed specifically for him is fine by me. And, I would actually like to see a scenario where you guys remember NC State would bring in Brendan Armstrong, which would be obvious running situations, and that's how they used him. I say early in the game, we bring in Jakari in some packages, some third and shorts, and we continue to run the ball with him, just exclusively run the ball. But then maybe in the second, third, when we need a little bit of a spark, we send him out there. Florida State expects him to run because that's what we've done all game. And we send one over the top, and let's see what happens. And lastly, be super physical and creative. We already can't play for a natty or a conference championship. Let's play like the team that has nothing to lose and go crazy. We can't afford to be super vanilla in this one. And now 3 keys to a victory for the Noles. And coming in at number 1, run with Jordan Travis in the red zone. JT hasn't been forced to run as often this season as he has in the past, but he's definitely capable, and Miami struggles to account for and stop a running QB. If you're in the red zone, I can promise you there will be opportunities for him to score. Number 2, pressure, pressure, and more pressure. FSU has a solid D-line that features 2 really athletic defensive ends. It's either going to be Tyler Van Dyke, who's been an interception machine, a freshman, or Jakari, who hasn't played a single game yet so far this season. Lots of pressure could rattle Miami's quarterback. And lastly, you can't let the weight of remaining undefeated get to you. Florida State has to go out there and just play free, because some would say that the Seminoles are due an upset. And now the part of the video that I usually really look forward to, but I've been dreading it a bit this week. My score prediction for this game. But first, before we get into it, we always like to take a look at the ESPN matchup predictor, which has FSU's win percentage chance coming into this one at a whopping 85% and Miami at 15%. Now, at the time of filming this video, FanDuel has FSU as a 14.5 point favorite, with the over-under coming in at right around 50.5 points. Now, before we finally do this, we will check in with the Dr. Scientist guy, Dr. Pepper, to see if he approves my prediction. Now, if you guys are new here, he is currently 1-1 after approving my wrong prediction last week. Many of you remember this is the second guy that I've been through because I fired the last one. Yes, I hired a team of doctors and scientists to analyze my score predictions each and every week, and I paid them a lot of money. And even though I have been wrong at times this season, the numbers have been fairly accurate. Even with getting it wrong last week, when it comes to wins and losses, we hit the NC State score on the head. And we've been doing that week in and week out pretty consistently. But I will say that if Dr. Pepper gets it wrong this week, if he approves my score prediction and he's incorrect, he's also done. He's getting the boot. Let's check in. Hello there once again, Coop's college football family. It is I, Dr. Pepper. Coop thought that it would be appropriate that I filmed this video from Doak Campbell Stadium. So I made the trip all the way here, and I have to tell you guys something. Upon accepting this job, I was not a fan of college football. I'm a big nerd, a geek, a dork. I sit around, I crunch numbers on my mathematical equation device. I mix different formulas together because I am, in fact, both a scientist and a doctor. However, after witnessing Coop's love and passion for the Miami Hurricanes, I myself am now a Canes fan. I bleed orange and green. So with that being said, Coop sent me this. His neighbor's Florida State flag that he so bravely stole. And I want to let you know before I do this that I do not approve of Coop's score prediction. With that being said, here's what I think of Florida State. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you like that, Seminoles? Huh? You like that? Huh? What do you think of this? Yeah. Okay, so that was something. That was certainly interesting. As you can see here, we've broken out the 2023 Miami Hurricanes score prediction board. I made this season so that way we can track all of my score predictions and you guys can see how close or not close I've been each week for all of the games because I never run and I don't hide from score predictions. And I did go ahead and fill it out for the Wolfpack. I had 24-20. It was 20-6. We got it wrong. But we have an opportunity here to redeem ourselves when it comes to the score predictions, whether they are what I want them to be or not, because fandom and emotions get set to the side in these preview videos. Well, for the most part, I try my best anyways. So with that being said, let's get to these magic numbers. And I've really been crunching hard. I've really thought about this one. I had 4 or 5 score predictions that were floating around in my head, but this is the one that just speaks to me. This is the one that stands out. I have the Miami Hurricanes putting up 16. And the Florida State Seminoles scoring 38. Now let me make it officially official and put that big fat red L beside it, and then give me an opportunity here to explain my reasoning and give you some details. If we want to be honest here, the reality is that this Miami team has lost 3 of their last 5 games, and the 2 that we did win both went to overtime. That's not a good sign. Yeah, we were able to fight and claw our way to victory, but it was double overtime against Clemson and overtime against Virginia. This Miami offense is stagnant. The red zone offense has been piss poor. We just can't seem to get anything going in the passing game. Ground game has been okay at times. But this one's tough. This one's tough, man. Even with the switch at quarterback, if that does happen, it's too little too late. And I do believe that Florida State is the real deal. They probably end up in the college football playoffs. Can they win it all? I don't know. I honestly don't think anybody's beating Georgia, but that's a topic for another video. Now, I will say the only difference this year for Miami versus last year's team is this one won't just lay down and quit. That I think I can promise you. When looking at this 16, I know that's kind of a weird number. Like you guys are probably trying to do the math. Like, wait a minute, what's 16? That's for me, that's 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. There are going to be, I think, many opportunities here where Andy has to kick 45 plus, and he does hit some of those. And I do think that Miami will get on the board. So this team won't just quit. It won't be like last year where JT comes out and drops a dime, and then the team just says, okay, we're done. They'll continue to fight. 38-16. Miami's defense is solid. I think this will be one of the better D-lines that Florida State has seen so far this season, but I don't think they're going to be able to hang for 4 quarters, especially with the way this offense plays, defense being out on the field a lot. Again, there will be some opportunities there in this game, but I just can't confidently come out here and say that I believe Miami will win it. Now, as I said, there are no promises and no guarantees in life, college football, any of that stuff. But I just, man, with the way Miami's been playing at Doak, it would be tough for any Miami fan other than just, a fan that's embracing the fandom, and wanting to say there's no way I could ever pick against my team. It would be tough to pick Miami in this one. I'm hoping and praying that I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong this week. Believe me, I do. This is what my brain tells me, and it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Let's chop it up. Comment down below. Let's talk about the game. We can still try to talk some trash. If Florida State fans come in here and they start running their mouth, we can fire back. We can still try to have some fun with it. It just won't be as much as it's been in previous years. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one. This is my nephew, Landon. Go Canes!